Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jae Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Clevelande Dayton, the founder and CEO of Lande Co. With 15 years of HR expertise, Clevelande has saved companies over $100,000 through payroll audits, reduced turnover by 40% with culture-first strategies, and built HR systems for organizations with over 100 employees. Based in the New York City metropolitan area, Lande Co. HCM is revolutionizing how seven-figure founders streamline HR through programs like the HR Accelerator. We'll be exploring her founding story, how her business empowers scaling businesses, and her vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. With that being said, let's dive right in. Clevelande, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you, Jay, so much for having me. I'm excited about our conversation today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. So really, I would love to start at the top. All right, take us back to the beginning. What specific problem in the HR landscape really inspired you to start Lande Co?
Okay, so essentially throughout my HR career, I've been in every single, I would say, position in the company, starting from entry level, HR liaison, HR coordinator, all the way up to the executive level, HR director, and head of people. So what I've noticed is that a lot of times the company does not start taking care of their HR problems until it's too late. They're trying to put out the fire after the building has already blown up.
Yeah.
Essentially, I felt like HR was more of a strategic role, and I saw that very early on. But as I went through the different industries and the different companies and working in the HR departments, I realized that we need a way to help founders understand that HR is an essential function, just as important as finance, because the two go hand in hand, right? I've worked as well with some consulting companies that came in to assist the companies that I was working in, but they too did more of the day-to-day, onboarding and things of that nature, but not so much of a strategic HR approach. And that's where I felt like there's a gap in the industry, and I wanted to come in and fill that gap.
I love it. I love it. So, definitely want to speak about that a bit more, especially for our listeners, Clevelande, who could potentially hear this episode and want to come work with you or bring you on for what they're doing in their business. So walk us through really how you're generating revenue today with the business, what the core offer is. I know that you have the HR Accelerator, payroll audits. How do you structure that for your clients, and who is your ideal client that you like to work with?
So essentially, our focus is more on the HR infrastructure side of things. And we have in the accelerator, we have three different, I would say, tiers of engagement that Lande Co can take with the companies. So you have the HR compliance and policy foundation, where we're coming in, we're assisting you with building out your compliance, building out your employee handbook from start to finish. And I wouldn't say more of a assist, because it's more of a done for you service, where we come in, we look at what you currently have in place and how we can get you to be compliant with state and federal laws. So we build that out for you. Or you could go into our next tier, where you're getting the compliance and policies foundation, but we're also building out an operational HR system overhaul for you. And we're looking at things such as your onboarding, your hiring, your retention strategies, your employee relations strategies, and just all around making sure that you don't only have something that is operational, but that is scalable, which brings us into our third and final tier, where we do the overhaul of the onboarding systems, the employee relations, separation kits, hiring kits. And again, all of this is done for you. And then we also look at building out a scaling blueprint. So if your company, and we work with primarily seven-figure companies that are growing like leaps and bounds, hiring a lot of employees in a short period of time. So they don't really have the bandwidth or the capacity to go and look up all of the laws in their state and see, okay, if I'm going from 25 to 52 employees, what do I have to do differently from the 25 to now my team has doubled? What do I have to do differently? They want to focus on delivering the service to the customer. So that's where we come in and just help them with building out systems that can scale as their companies grow. And things like succession planning. If you were to build out a brand new department in your company right now, Do you want it to take you 5 months to figure out the job descriptions, the titles, who reports to who does what? Or do you want something that can collapse time for you? And just you could plug into it and say, I need to build out this department. This is the roadmap of how I'm going to do it within the next, I would say, 6 to 12 weeks, and have that department up and running at the speed of light, I would hope, or as fast as possible. So it's scalability and efficiency. That's what we try to put into the companies.
Amazing. Amazing. So with that right there, bouncing off the back of that statement there you just finished with, Cleveland, what is your approach internally with that scalability side of things? Is this something that with your offer, are you seeing that you're able to scale your company to that next level with what you're positioning?
So my company per se, I would say I am now looking to scale in the sense of just bringing in more consultants that understand not only how we want the industry to view us, but also the importance of HR being strategic and not just operational. Like people that are not worried so much only about the compliance piece, that can look at the overall picture and say, okay, the compliance is important, but growth is important as well. How do I help these so they don't go into conversations with these founders and only trying to push, let's say, our handbook services, where we're going to come in, we're going to do all your policies. Okay, and then what? So definitely I'm hoping to grow my team as well over the next, I would say, 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So that way I could be able to serve more clients, expand my territory as well in regards to the different states. I actually had a conversation today with someone from Canada, another HR director from Canada, and we're trying to team up and do some things. Because essentially, it doesn't matter, I would say, where in the world you are. People
Yeah.
are going to be people. Now, the state laws are going to be a little different. The country laws are going to be a little different. But at the core, people are going to be people. John is going to say something to, I don't know who, Sue, and she's not going to like it, and they're going to get into it. And you have to have something in place to mitigate that employee conflict. That's what I'm looking to do in the next couple months.
Incredible. So walk us through now, Cleveland. You have some great plans you're doing. You're having success already, only getting started in February. What's working best for you right now as far as the acquisition side of things goes? Whether you're seeing referrals from successes in the past or social media, ads that you're running, what does that look like? What channel is working best?
So that's a great question, because initially I got into the hype of TikTok when it first
Hey,
started, and I was trying to just keep up with that TikTok algorithm. It was fun, to say the least.
yeah,
I soon realized that majority of the people who may need the assistance that I'm providing are going to be on LinkedIn. So I've done a shift, and it's crazy because I recently did the shift to focus more on building out my LinkedIn presence and providing the help where it's needed. I don't see very much founders and CEOs sitting on TikTok waiting for HR advice. But because LinkedIn was built as a platform to connect people to companies, connect employees to employers, I found I have found that I'm having much more meaningful conversations there than I could have ever had while doing Instagram or TikTok, which I wasn't successful. I can't dance.
yeah. I love it. So with that, obviously, LinkedIn's is the primary source for you right now, bringing in those new leads. Now, when you're talking about predictability and scalability, have you thought about other avenues, maybe ads, or how are you going to approach that scalability and predictable lead flow coming in?
Yes, so I've definitely considered, or I am thinking about doing ads. The thing is, even if I want to be a marketer at heart, I'm HR,
Exactly.
and that's my strong suit in what I do. So I do plan to bring on people who are great at doing that in regards to doing the ads, also expanding my, I would say, customer acquisition team
Yes.
and sales and things of that nature. So that's something that I'm definitely researching. But right now, with so much information online, it's hard to figure out who's the best partner to bring into your business and not worry first for them to actually know what they're doing, because a lot of people can say they run ads and do all of that stuff, but also not only can you relinquish the entire part of that business to them, where you're like, okay, I trust you, sales is what you do, you're gonna bring me the right people, because there's also an issue of quantity over quality.
Correct.
Sometimes you run the ads, you get a lot of people, but they're not the right people you want to work with. So that matters to me as well, because I don't want to stress myself out or my team out So we want to work with people that wants to work with us just as much.
I love it. So with that, you said something that stuck out to me there. So as far as the sales process, you got no sales team right now, right? So it's just you, and then you have a team,
Consultants.
yeah, just consultants that work with you. So you're running the sales right now?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Okay. So you're wearing a lot of different hats there.
Yeah, that's the beauty of starting your business. You stop working essentially for someone, let's say 40 hours a week to go work 100 hours for yourself, hoping that things will just take off.
Love it. I love your energy and your enthusiasm. Clear as day that you're going to continue to see success, Cleveland. It's incredible what you've been able to do this far and what you're going to be able to achieve. So a pleasure having you on the show. With that, there, walk us through your mindset on a bottleneck that you're thinking about right now, whether it is lead generation or converting those leads and doing the sales side yourself or delivering the services and the fulfillment side. What are you thinking about right now as a bottleneck that you're looking to push through and solve?
So I would say, because one of the things that I struggled with in the beginning is that when you're doing, let's say, B2C sales, and it's easy to, I'm a buyer, so I've attended probably a million webinars, right?
Yeah.
And I have no problem scheduling, doing that call and whatnot, but it's a little bit tougher to get, let's say, a, a CEO or founder that is really busy to sit on a, I don't know what it is, a hour and a half webinar and just waiting to get to the end and things of that nature. So I think I need to focus more on a bridge between doing one to many, where I can get them on some sort of information session so they can learn about what it is that my company offers. So when they come into any sort of calls with me, they are making educated decisions. Although it is a little bit more difficult with my client base because of the fact that they need sometimes to have multiple decision makers, right? If you're the founder, you're probably going to want to consult with the head of HR or the COO prior to making a decision on revamping your entire people infrastructure. So that's a little bit of a bottleneck for me. I'm trying to find different ways to ease that. It's almost like a pain point, right? It's like to ease that for me so that way it could put me in front of more of the clients that I'm looking to work with.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, and clearly you're putting the position and the pieces in place to be able to break through that pain point and achieve that success that you're looking, getting that, working with a partner, getting that lead gen quality locked in, getting some setters, some closers in place so you can pull yourself out of the sales side of things. So everything in place, clear as day, Cleveland. You're doing what you have to do. So paint us a picture here, Cleveland. What does the rest of 2025 going into 2026 look like for you, for the company? What are you laser focused on to get those goals achieved?
Ideally, I would like to have, even if it's not a big, something small, setting up a sales team that can take over the day-to-day of meeting with the potential clients that we want to engage in. Someone that knows my business in and out, and they can tell my story and our why just as well as I can, and helping our potential clients to see more of the strategic partnership as opposed to just us coming in and doing the, people love to think HR is like paper pushers. A lot of time when you sit on a consultation with some of these HR consulting companies, they'll let you know, yeah, we could come in and do your JDs and we can help you hire and things, but that's not really what Lande Co does. Someone who could really tell our story and help founders see alignment in
Mm,
what we do and where they want to take their companies. Because companies are growing at the speed of light, especially with the invention of AI.
yes.
And although people love to think that we don't need HR because everybody's going to be working with I beg to differ. I think as long as humanity exists, we're going to have a reason to manage people. So,
I could not
so
agree more.
that's kind of what I'm looking for. Grow my sales team and the client acquisition team, as well as the customer service team as well. Right now, I primarily work with consultants, so I'm looking to grow, bring on customer success managers and onboarding managers, and those, I would say, very important functional roles to make the customer experience just better.
I love it. So with that, then Cleveland, talk to us a bit about with your experience in the space. You've literally gone from the bottom to the top in HR. Now you're running your own company. What do you see as the HR consulting industry and its evolution? in the coming years, especially again with your culture first, infrastructure focused approach? What are you doing to position Lande Co at the forefront of that evolution?
So for starters, I strongly believe that HR itself as an industry is very primal. There's so much room for improvement, especially marrying HR with AI. As much as I say that it's not going to improve it's not going to, I would say, take over all jobs, but it can help us improve, right? Especially in our industry. So just taking a lot of the things that we do manually and using technology to make those things better. So I definitely think there will be a shift with companies, I would say HR consulting companies who embrace AI and can help their clients implement AI in their people strategy. So that's what I'm ultimately aiming towards. Right now, it is about the compliance, it is about the scalability, it is about the structure, but ultimately, how can I help my clients build their people infrastructure for tomorrow, not what it is right now?
Mm, I love it. I love that. So with that right there, I want to take us into the lightning round. Again, incredible hearing your thought process, how you're looking at that, and why, again, you're going to be able to take this to the next level, Cleveland, because you are positioning yourself as a go-to in this space. So what is a tool or a resource that you're using, Cleveland? Maybe an HR strategy, a compliance insight, AI, as you just mentioned, is huge. What's something that's been a game changer for Lande Co this far?
Sorry about that. Yes, I right now one of the things that we do, we use what's called an Latin score. So when we initially bring our clients on, typically you would do like a one-on-one session, you would do like through a checklist, but I love data. They say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So wherever the data puts you, that's where the truth is. So I typically have my clients take their allotment score, and it would be two top executives. It could be the CEO and the HR executive. It could be the COO, maybe one of the board members, depending if it's like a nonprofit or something of that nature, just to see where they align when it comes to their understanding of how their company operates when it comes to a people standpoint, right? And then with that data, I can then pinpoint not only the pain points, but also the risk, like where they have holes in their people strategy. And these are the things that we attack first. And after that, we can go back into our checklist compliance and all of the things that they should have in place to have an operational HR system, and we start to fill in those gaps.
I absolutely love that. And then just one more question for you, Cleveland, to wrap us up here. And this is for our listeners. What is a piece of advice that you can offer to our listeners tuning in right now? Again, with your drive and your passion and the success that you've already seen and that you will see, what can you offer to our listeners before we wrap up the show?
So I would say just the other day, I thought about something, and this might be a little cynical. When you die, they put two dates on your tombstone, a first date and a second date. And then in between it, there's a little dash. That little dash is your life. So just don't be afraid to go after what it is that you want and build your life on your terms. Okay. I can say that a lot of us have the fear of failing, but trying WD-40, they had to try so many times before they got to what they need to do. Albert Einstein, to make the light bulb, he had to try whatever 1,000 times before he did it. So I would say that don't have so much fear of trying and failing that you just stop yourself from doing anything at all. They always say that the graveyard is the richest place in the world because there's so many dreams that die there. So I think it's very important that we really tune out all the noise and not care about what others are doing. And whatever it is, that's your passion project, what you want to do, you just go after it and you do it. So that's what I can say for the listeners. And let's grow. That's all I have.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I love it. With that right there, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Cleveland, I can't thank you enough. Coming on the show, sharing that incredible journey and your insights, just getting started in February. And as I just mentioned, clear as day, how much drive and passion you have. Definitely want to have you back on the show in the future, Cleveland, see how everything's been going for you and get some good updates. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also follow Cleveland on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Cleveland Dayton. For more resources and insights, you can visit us at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.